Why do homeowners get sued when they sell their house? I will give you the number one solution to not getting sued when selling your home. And the answer is OD. And I don't mean overdose. I mean over disclose. Lack of disclosure is the number one cause for sellers to get sued after they sell their home. If you read a real estate contract, certainly in California, it says in the contract that you're selling your home as is. Most sellers know that, believe that, think that. Hey, you get what you get. It's your house now, not my house. Your problem. Until the buyer has an issue after the close of escrow and does their own due diligence and discovers it was a known issue that existed that the seller knew about, they got him. They hire a lawyer. The lawyer says they can pursue the seller and collect damages. How does this happen? Why does it happen? I'm going to give you two scenarios that I ran into in my career. Number one, sellers think they don't have to disclose things they fixed, which is incorrect. Meaning, you have a plumbing issue and you fix it. And you have another plumbing issue and you fix it. And the plumbing issue comes back up and you fix it again and you think it's fixed. You're not even thinking about it when you're selling your home. You sell your home, the buyer buys it. Do you have any issues? Do you have any plumbing issues? No, I don't. It's true, it's valid. However, the buyer buys it, closes escrow, 3 weeks later, has a plumbing issue, calls the plumber. Guess what? It was the seller's plumber. Plumber comes over and says, oh my God, I've been here trying to fix this issue for years. It's unfixable. Now, that wasn't disclosed by the seller. The buyer has an automatic case and a very good chance of collecting damages for that situation. And the seller was innocently saying they didn't think that problem still existed. Number two example, homeowners selling their condominium. Keep this in mind if you're in an association. This is an actual case that happened where the buyer moved in 9 months later, got a letter from the HOA that they want to upgrade the HOA complex, the building. And we're going to assess you for $37,000 for this upgrade. And the buyer was up in arms. They didn't have $37,000 to cover this assessment. So they did some due diligence to try to figure out why are they dealing with this problem? Why didn't the seller tell them about it? Well, lo and behold, when discussed with the seller stated after lawyers had got involved, the HOA said they weren't going to do any upgrades. That was his understanding. Actually, a true statement. The HOA had meetings, discussed doing upgrades, and the HOA decided not to do any upgrades to the building. The seller believed, since they decided not to do any upgrades to the building, there was nothing to disclose to the buyer. Guess what? There was information discussed. That information that was discussed is a disclosable item. Had the seller disclosed it to the buyer would have known, and they could have made a decision if they wanted to still close that escrow. But by not providing that information to the buyer had a case, and lawyers do what they do, and we're able to extract money from the seller and other parties involved in the transaction to get the buyer whole, to get their $37,000 into their pocket so they could afford that assessment. That was a surprise. So I go back to OD, over disclose. Do not be afraid to disclose anything and everything with your property. It's better to let a buyer out of a contract in the middle of the transaction, as bad as you want to close, by over disclosing because they are not comfortable with whatever it is you're disclosing. That's your best protection to avoid lawsuits when selling your home. Yeah, and if you have anything unique or special about your home or your situation or what you even should disclose or not disclose, feel free to reach out. We're happy to answer those questions. Even if you're not our client, we don't mind. Just reach out, look in the link below for our contact information. We wish you the best in finding a great buyer for your house.